Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world of constant movement. New cities, new careers, ever-evolving technology. In all this rapid change, it's easy to forget who we truly are. But there's a quiet strength, a deep wisdom, and a profound sense of purpose that comes when we take the time to discover our roots. It's about connecting with the culture, people, and stories that have shaped your identity. Understanding your identity begins with the realization that who you are is not limited to your name, occupation, or daily routine. Beneath the surface lies a deeper narrative, shaped by the cultures, values, and traditions of those who came before you. Often, we move through life unaware of the invisible threads that tie us to a greater story. These threads include the beliefs passed down through generations, the way we interact with the world, and the subtle habits we may have never questioned. When you start exploring your roots, you begin to unravel this intricate story, one that adds depth and richness to your personal identity. This journey of self-discovery is not always straightforward. In fact, for many people, modern life can create a sense of disconnect from their heritage. The emphasis on globalization, digital culture, and modern trends can overshadow the importance of where we came from. We're taught to look forward, to achieve, to adapt. Yet rarely are we encouraged to look back. But without that backward glance, we risk building our future on unstable ground. Knowing your roots helps you recognize the foundations that have shaped your values, emotions, and sense of self. As you learn about your family's history, your culture's traditions, and the journeys of your ancestors, you begin to understand the reasons behind many aspects of your personality and perspective. You might discover that your sense of hospitality comes from a culture of community and togetherness. You might find that your resilience is rooted in generations that survived hardship. These realizations don't just satisfy curiosity, they fill in missing pieces of your identity, empowering you to live with intention and confidence. They remind you that you are not an isolated being, but a continuation of a rich legacy. Furthermore, this understanding allows you to break cycles and make conscious choices about the person you want to become. When you know where your tendencies come from, you gain the power to change the narrative if needed. You can honor the strengths of your heritage while challenging the limitations it may have imposed. Identity becomes a dynamic blend of acknowledgement and transformation. By finding your roots and understanding your identity, you don't just learn about the past, you claim control over your future. Connecting to your ancestry allows you to bridge the gap between past and present. This connection is not merely academic or genealogical. It is emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. Learning about your ancestors' lives, whether through oral histories, written records, or cultural practices, gives you insight into their joys, sorrows, and triumphs. These stories are more than historical facts. They are lived experiences that shape your family's path and, ultimately, your own. When you uncover the sacrifices they made, or the values they held dear, you begin to understand the foundation upon which your life stands. This connection also provides a sense of belonging. In a world where people often feel adrift or disconnected, knowing your ancestry roots you in a broader human experience. You are not just one individual struggling through life's challenges. You are part of a continuum, a long line of people who have endured and overcome. This understanding can bring a sense of comfort and pride, especially during moments of uncertainty, even if you've never met them. Your ancestors' strength, wisdom, and resilience live on through you. Their lives, once distant and abstract, become real and meaningful as you uncover them. Through this exploration, you might uncover cultural practices, philosophies, or even family legends that resonate with you today. Perhaps a grandparent's determination mirrors your own work ethic, or an ancient custom aligns with your personal values. These discoveries can help you feel less alone in your struggles and more connected to a shared purpose. When you know what your ancestors stood for, you become more aware of what you stand for. Their lessons can guide your decisions, offering a moral compass shaped not just by modern society, but by generations of accumulated wisdom. Moreover, connecting to ancestry often unearths emotional truths that have been buried or forgotten. Families carry stories, some of pride, others of pain. By engaging with your lineage, you open the door to healing wounds that may have been passed down unconsciously. Whether it's confronting the legacy of migration, conflict, or poverty, this journey can be transformative. It's an act of honoring those who came before. A journey through this process whose glen clear and embracing the full spectrum of your existence. Cultural appreciation begins with recognizing that culture is more than just music, food, or holidays. It is a living, breathing force that shapes our worldview, our values, and our way of life. When you start to explore your roots, you begin to uncover layers of your own culture that may have gone unnoticed in the routine of daily living. This process can reveal the richness of your traditions, the stories behind your rituals, and the wisdom contained in your custom. From the language spoken by your grandparents to the ceremonies observed by your ancestors, each element of culture carries a purpose that stretches beyond the surface. Embracing these aspects connects you to something timeless and enduring. Appreciating your culture also brings a sense of pride. In a globalized world where people are often encouraged to conform to dominant norms, it can be easy to feel that your culture is outdated or irrelevant. But once you begin to learn about the significance behind your customs, you start to see the beauty in their depth. Every proverb, every dance, every symbol has a story that has survived generations. This knowledge instills a sense of honor, reminding you that you come from a lineage of people who created meaningful ways of living, celebrating, and understanding the world. Cultural appreciation transforms embarrassment into pride and indifference. Moreover, appreciating your culture fosters a stronger sense of identity and unity within your community. skilled, distant or disconnected, especially if you felt distant or disconnected. No longer participating in culture events or learning your native language can reignite that connection. Especially these acts, however small, serve as affirmations of who you are and where you come from. They offer emotional grounding and help you find joy in the familiar rhythms of your ancestral life. In addition, cultural appreciation allows you to pass something meaningful on to the next generation. When you understand and value your roots, you are more likely to preserve and share them. This continuation helps young people feel connected to a larger story, giving them the gift of identity early in life. In a time when cultural erasure is a real concern, actively appreciating and celebrating your heritage becomes a form of resistance. It says, this matters, this is part of who we are. By cherishing your culture, you keep it alive, not only for yourself, but for those who will follow. Rediscovery and reconnection with your roots is often a powerful and emotional journey. For many, life circumstances, migration, urbanization, family separation, or even historical oppression can create a disconnect from one's culture or lineage. Over time, individuals may begin to feel a void they can't quite explain, a sense of being unanchored or lost in the modern world. This emptiness often signals a deeper yearning to know who we are and where we come from. The process of rediscovery begins when we acknowledge that absence and actively choose to seek answers about our heritage and identity. This journey can begin in small but meaningful ways. Perhaps it starts with asking elders about their memories or flipping through old family photo albums. It might mean tracing your family tree, studying the language of your ancestors, or visiting the village or homeland your family once called home. Every detail you uncover, whether it's the story behind your surname, an old family recipe, or a forgotten cultural practice, becomes a thread in the larger tapestry of your identity. These threads are more than just information. They are emotional and spiritual links to a time and place that shaped your lineage. Reconnection through rediscovery isn't always easy. It can bring up difficult truths, stories of struggle, loss, or even shame that were hidden or suppressed over time. However, facing these truths is part of healing and reclaiming your full identity. It allows you to approach your heritage with honesty and depth, rather than idealizing or rejecting it based on incomplete knowledge. Reconnection doesn't mean romanticizing the past. It means understanding it in its entirety, both the light and the shadow, so that you can grow with a stronger, more grounded sense of self. The beauty of rediscovery lies in its power to transform not only your understanding of your past, but also your present. As you begin to embrace lost traditions or reconnect with forgotten roots, you often find new meaning and strength in your daily life. You begin to walk differently, speak with greater purpose, and act with deeper awareness. What once seemed foreign or irrelevant becomes a source of pride and clarity. Through this reconnection, you reclaim parts of yourself that were never truly gone, only waiting to be found. In a world that moves at an unrelenting pace, where trends shift rapidly and identities are constantly influenced by social media and external expectations, grounding becomes essential. Knowing your roots offers a powerful sense of stability in the midst of this chaos. It provides an internal compass, a set of values, traditions, and beliefs that guide you when the world feels uncertain. When everything around you changes, your roots remain a steady reminder of who you are. They anchor you not by limiting your growth, but by ensuring that your growth is authentic and aligned with where you come from. Rounding through your heritage creates emotional and psychological balance. It helps you navigate life's ups and downs with greater resilience because you are connected to something deeper than the surface experiences of the moment. You are not just reacting to situations, you are responding from a place of awareness, rooted in your personal and ancestral history. This stability fosters confidence and self-assurance. When you know your cultural identity and where you belong, you are less likely to be shaken by external pressures or the need for validation. You become more centered and secure in your choices. This sense of grounding is particularly vital in moments of crisis or transition. Grandfaith and strength. They remind you that others before you have faced difficulties and survived. And so, for the Rediscover audio, have more comfort and source and spread and comfort and service and reset. These elements become tools you can turn to not only for support but for meaning.
Stop sama laba-laba.
And these are the gifts a life can enjoy. These are the gifts a life can endure. These are the gifts a life can enjoy. Moreover, grounding through your roots encourages a more intentional way of living. It shifts your perspective from simply surviving each day to living with purpose. Your actions, decisions, and goals begin to reflect not just your immediate desires, but the lessons and values inherited from your lineage. You walk through life with a deeper sense of direction because you understand where your path began. In this way, your roots are not chains. They are the solid soil in which you grow. They don't confine you. They keep you connected to truth, to origin, and to the strength of your beginning. Understanding your roots doesn't just benefit you personally, it opens your heart to others. When you explore your own cultural background, family history, and the challenges your ancestors faced, you begin to develop a deeper sense of empathy for people from different walks of life. You realize that everyone carries stories, some painful and others powerful, that shape who they are. Your own journey to reconnect with your identity helps you see the similar struggles in others, whether it's displacement, generational trauma, or cultural loss. The empathy you gain through your own self-discovery allows you to relate to others with compassion and respect. This awareness plays a vital role in healing, both personally and collectively. On a personal level, rediscovering your roots can help you make sense of emotional patterns and inherited pain that may have been passed down silently through generations. Sometimes, what we carry isn't just our own burden, but the unresolved grief or trauma of those who came before us. By confronting and understanding that past, you begin to break harmful cycles. Healing starts when you give voice to what was silenced, when you remember what was forgotten, and when you choose to honor rather than hide from your history. At a broader level, reconnecting with your roots promotes social understanding and harmony. When people understand their own identities more deeply, they are less likely to dismiss or judge others. Instead, they begin to appreciate the complexity of everyone's cultural experience. This encourages more inclusive communities where diversity is seen not as a barrier, but as a shared strength. It allows people from different backgrounds to come together. By healing the divisions within ourselves, we are better equipped to help heal the divisions in society. Empathy rooted in cultural understanding is powerful because it's sincere. It's not based on sympathy or charity. It's born out of shared human experience. When you truly know your roots, you no longer see others as strangers. You see their stories reflected in your own. You see their ancestors in your ancestors. This sense of shared humanity helps dismantle prejudice and fosters unity. And in a world where people are often separated by fear or misunderstanding, empathy born from knowing your roots becomes a quiet yet revolutionary force for healing. Your roots are more than just remnants of the past. They are a deep and powerful reservoir of strength that can carry you forward. When you explore your ancestry and understand the legacy you come from, you begin to realize that your existence is the result of countless acts of perseverance, love, sacrifice, and resilience. Each generation before you faced challenges, some that may have seemed insurmountable, and yet they endured. Their strength lives on through you. This awareness becomes a silent source of courage, reminding you that you carry within you the same ability to rise, to push forward, and to succeed no matter the odds. This strength manifests not only in times of hardship, but also in moments of growth. You don't move through life, ambition, and purpose. It encourages you to aim higher, to dream bigger, and to pursue goals that reflect not only your personal desires, but also the dreams of those who came before you and paved the way. Moreover, your roots give you a sense of duty and responsibility. When you truly understand the struggles and sacrifices made by your ancestors, you feel compelled to honor them, not just in words, but through action. This might mean standing firm in your values, lifting up your community, or simply living with integrity. The strength of your roots doesn't weigh you down, it empowers you to stand tall, knowing that you are never walking alone. Your ancestors walk beside you, not as ghosts of the past, but as guiding spirits whose experiences continue to shape your character and choices. That inherited strength also becomes a legacy you pass on. When you build your life with awareness of your roots, you create a foundation for future generations to stand upon. Your children, your siblings, your community, they all benefit from your connection to your heritage. You become the living bridge between the past and the future. The strength you draw from your roots today will echo in the stories told tomorrow. It ensures that your culture, your family's history, and the spirit of your people continue to live, not as fading memories, but as vibrant truths, shaping a more empowered future. In the end, finding your roots is not simply a journey into the past. It is a profound step toward understanding the present and shaping the future. It's about reconnecting with the truths that live beneath the surface, embracing the traditions that built us, and honoring the legacy that runs through our veins. When you know where you come from, you walk with purpose, with strength, and with a sense of belonging that no external force can take away. So take the time to look back, to listen, to learn, because in doing so, you find not only your roots, but also your wings.